All right, so I just did a video on where does the money come from, and the audio was real bad, so I'm going to do it again here while I'm at home with a sleeping puppy and another sleeping puppy. So I was talking to these guys today, great guys from New Jersey, who are going to be able to retire on Social Security just fine, and they live in New Jersey. Property tax $7,000 a year, and they're still going to be just fine. Healthcare $1,000 a month between them on Medicare because they don't spend much money. All right, they have no debt whatsoever. They're content, dude. It's just that and they raised 3 kids. The wife stayed home to raise them. She went back to work part time. Has a couple 20,000 or so in her 401k that she's since saved. But the guy's been working friggin' 40 years. And I said, he's in a service job. And I said, we'll call him Bill. I said, or John. What do we call him? Bob, Bill, John. What do I normally call people? I got to find out a different name because I just did John, Bill, and let's call this guy Pat. No, not Pat. What a good name. Dennis. We'll call him Dennis. So Dennis, he's in a service job. And I said, man, what'd you do during COVID? Because he said they didn't go to work. They stayed home. I said, but you're in a service job. How do you get paid? He goes, man, I got paid more on unemployment than I ever did working. I said, and he never made 6 figures ever in his life. His Social Security is going to be like between him and his wife $4,000 a month. I said, where does that money come from? He goes, I don't know, dude. I'm just thinking there are millions of people just like him who got paid more to stay at home than to work. What? And so all these people are saying, well, this is causing inflation, that we're just, putting all this money out there. Because I don't necessarily agree with this, but the argument from Economics 101, hi, baby, was that inflation is caused by higher wages. All right, so higher wages mean the people who are working have more money in their pocket. They'll compete for the goods that are level. So the basic demand goes up, the supply stays flat. I never quite understood that. Supply side economics says when the demand goes up, the supply will meet the demand. In fact, the supply creates the demand, if that makes sense. Why you see all these brew pubs out there? The supply creates the demand. People are sitting there, I want 120 different beers at frickin', I don't know, Starbucks, Whole Foods, whatever. The supply created its own demand, if that makes sense. And that's supply side economics. You'll supply the goods and the demand will follow suit. Or won't. But if it doesn't, then the company that supplied those products will go bankrupt. But that's how innovation happens. I completely agree with that, by the way. Anyway, the point being is old days of Economics 101 with fools like Paul Samuelson, increasing wages puts more money in the pocket of laborers. Those laborers will have more money to buy stuff. The same amount of products, the supply won't change. Thus, the price of those products will go up. Supply stays flat, demand goes up, that's a price increase. That's just freaking stupid, man, because, hey, you're only thinking about the laborers who are working with the increase in wages, and then again, you're not thinking about increasing supply to meet the demand of the laborers who are working. It's just so stupid, especially when that unemployment rate back in the old days of, 5% was considered full unemployment. Or full employment. I got some kind of bug flying around, and Finney's going crazy. Oh, there it is. It's all right. Yeah, look at that bug. I know, right? We don't want to kill bugs, though. Maybe I'll kill that guy. I probably won't. He's not harming anybody. Yeah, but Finney is like, whatever the guy. What do you see? Uh-oh. 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 Oh, can't Finney. Oh, you got, oh my goodness. You got him. You got him. Holy crap, buddy, you're good. My little Raptosaurus. Oh, did you get him? No. Anyway, so what happens here then with the COVID stuff, we just bypassed the wage increases. We just gave money to people, more money than they were making while working, millions of people. So, of course, if the inflation is caused by the government spending, all right, and let's just grant you that for a second. I don't necessarily believe that because I always told you inflation is caused by scarcity. Scarcity is caused by what? High in cost of energy, the inability to find low-price energy or any energy to make your goods. All right, or you can supply chains too. That all goes back to energy. High cost of energy leads to inflation every single time too. It's just that simple. Anyway, but let's just say there is some validity to that high cost of we're paying people to stay at home, and they get all this flush of money. And so now we're dealing with this inflation. We'll say it's a 20% inflation. I don't care what it is. Those days are gone now. So doesn't that inherently mean there is going to be a deflation? If the inflation was caused by people being paid more than they ever made in their life to sit at home and not work, and now those days are gone, doesn't that inherently mean they have to go back to work for a lower labor cost, which means they don't have as much money to spend, thus there's going to be a deflation? Doesn't that mean that? And if so, what the hell? How come no one's talking about that? I still don't understand where this money's coming from. Where's it coming from, Chloe?
Pablo.
No, Pablo's got the money. Pablo's got a girlfriend, by the way. Little Lucy from down the street. Pablo and Lucy were smooching. Their tails are wagging like crazy. But Finney's, he's kind of asexual. He didn't want anything to do with it. He's like, dude, get a room. Yeah, he was like, oh, I don't want to see all this crap. So then I look at like the Silicon Valley Bank. I don't know what the hell's going on there. I just know that they're down 60% of their share price. Are they capitalized enough? Is it going to be running the bank? I don't know. There's always something to be concerned about. But my issue is, and that might be the start of something. I don't know. But what I'm saying is, where did the friggin' money come from? They just printed it. So if they can print it to provide income for people for 8 months who aren't working, why can't they print to provide income for people for 8 years who aren't working? What's to stop them? Well, don't you see it's going to be perpetual inflation? Is it? Because now it seems like there's got to be deflation, or if there's already inflation baked in because the money they spent over these last 2 years to pay people to sit on their butts, doesn't that inherently have to go away at some point because they're no longer doing that? It doesn't make any sense. And then you can say, well, if there's deflation coming in because once the money printing machine stops, then that makes the prices drop because people don't have the excess cash to spend. If that's your argument, then don't you say, well, we better get the money printing machine back up. We just pay people not to work. None of this makes sense. The whole economy doesn't make sense. It's smoke and mirrors. It makes no sense. What's it built on, dude? Is it built on earnings from people? Remember, the number one reason for growth in the economy is personal consumption expenditures, PCE, basic consumer spending. And my wife was just telling me today, she went to a restaurant today with one of her friends for lunch. Where'd she go, Co? Salt restaurant. She goes, there's dead in there. She's never seen it like that. Dead. My wife talked to a business owner today, too, and the business owner's saying, man, they're hurting right now. There's just not enough demand. So what does that mean? That's anecdotal, I grant you. But I'm sitting there with the Silicon Valley Bank, one thing, which tells me they don't have enough capital. I don't know what's going on. I haven't really paid much mind to it. But it's like, anytime there's a bank that gets hit like that, that's something weird. That's not normal. 60% loss in the share price. Silicon Valley Bank, which is supposed to be highly capitalized and run solidly. Something's gone wrong there. I don't know what it is. Anyway, then we find out Salt, this restaurant, pretty fancy schmancy good time rock and roll hamburger joint here in Alpharetta, Georgia, is usually booming. Ain't no one in there. You know what I'm saying? My wife talked to a business owner today, said her business is suffering right now big time. And I'm sitting there thinking, they're not printing the money off anymore to pay you to sit on your butts. And I got no qualm with people taking that money. You didn't make the rules. You just took it. Look, I got no qualm. If they're going to pay me to sit on my butts, yeah, I'll take your stupid money. I know Cody and I know as teenagers, well, we came across one. Remember what, well, I won't say more, but yeah, and he was like working part-time, just a high school kid working part-time. And then they said, don't come to work. And he got paid like more money. He got paid more money not to work at all. You want to be on the video?
I was just going to say hi to Pom.
Oh, I thought you want to say hi to the video.
I'm good.
You sure? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Chloe's, she says she's good.
Pops is growling about inflation.
Alright, let's get on with Pablo. Alright. Pops does not like to talk about inflation. What do you think, Pablo? You like inflation, Pablo? Pablo, you like Sniffy Joe? Ooh, Pops does not like Sniffy Joe. Oh. Oh, Pops is on the video, Coco. I got Finney actually biting. There's a little fly shoe flying around, and Finney got it.
Oh,
I know.
my
I
God.
got it on the video, on this video right here. All right. Anyway, so I'm not sure it's going to last. All I know is, man, an economy, is it built on sand or is it built on concrete? I don't know, but it just seems odd to me. All right, we'll love to hear your thoughts. We'll see you.